Welcome to Rage, you nerds. I am Mr. Cack. Joining me, like he does on Tuesdays, my lovely, my beautiful, my confident, my soulmate, Reno.
All of those were true.
Yes, yeah.
Especially the beautiful part.
Yep. So Reno, the name of
Jump right in.
the name of the game today is we have some shame to cast. We are casting shame, or at least we are going to discuss and decide whether this person, this entity, this team, this body is deserving of being shamed, and if they are, let's shame them. If they're not, then we'll back off. We'll back off, you know?
Are we like Game of Thrones shaming them, or are we just like internet shaming them?
Oh, just you wait. So this one potentially might pop back up when we do the shame game. But this is just something I gotta vent about, man. And I gotta do a moment of rage. What I am not upset about, so I want to make this clear first. I am not upset with anyone during a pandemic, during escalated health risk, deciding, hey, you know what? It's not safe for me to do something. So players that have opted out, players that don't feel comfortable, or players that do feel comfortable and want to be in it, as we've seen Trevor Lawrence coming out, Justin Fields coming out, as we've seen some leaders start to step up within the players, I'm totally cool with all of them. I'm more directed at the actual body that comprises the NCAA. So the president, whoever else is in there, and then in an extension, the presidents and the chancellors involved with all the schools that comprise the conferences. The NCAA is such a back-assward way of trying to do something. Every sport has a centralized governing body except for college sports. And the reason, who knows? But because they don't have a centralized voice, because they don't have someone as a hierarchy of anything, this has just been such a head in the sands, stupid way of trying to exercise some kind of authority. No one knows who's calling the shots, so no one wants to call the shots. And then when people do call the shots, you get this weird domino effect of like, well, they did it, so I guess I might as well do it. And again, I'm not against anyone deciding they don't want to play during a pandemic. That is perfectly fine. But there's only been one professional sport that we've seen so far that has sucked horrifically at doing pandemic, their version of their sport. And it's the only sport that didn't have a plan in place. It's the only sport that didn't attempt some kind of bubble measurements. It was the MLB. The MLB has been a god-awful experience so far. But you know what's been great? NHL. You know what's been great? Golf. And, apples to oranges, right? Because golf is not going to be the same kind of contact you get in football. You know what's been damn good on two different occasions? Basketball. And you can't tell me there's not contact in that. They are literally rubbing up sweaty bodies on each other.
Yep.
Have you watched an NBA game? They just sit there and breathe on each other. NBA game is half a rest. It's like half a nap standing up, and then it's actually playing basketball once you get into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So the fact that the college football world decided, you know what? We don't have anyone telling us what to do, so we'll figure this out as we get there. We'll wait and decide it went June. It went July. It went August. And now there's some that are still saying, you know what? We'll get this figured out when we get to September. There needs to be a complete either abolishment of the NCAA and a restructuring to make a governing body. Because guess what's about to happen? The players are about to unionize, and you better have a centralized government for your organization, or those schools are going to get manhandled by players that have an absurd amount of power they're about to get once these deals with able to get money and be college players. Like, as soon as that happens, if the NCAA, if the different conferences, if they don't have some kind of governing body, the players are going to run roughshod over them. Because the players right now, they realize it too. That's why Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and some of the others are starting to come out and actually talk about this stuff. They realize they're on the precipice of having more power and more say than the NCAA. And I know that's not saying a lot. It frustrates me that we could have probably had college football, maybe not perfect. Maybe it still would have been closed down as much as it is right now. But we probably had a better chance if there would have actually been someone, an adult, sitting at the head of the table saying, listen, here's our guidelines. No one's there to do that. And you know what? It just pisses me off. It makes me really upset that we could have potentially had something, but no one decided they wanted to be the parent. No one decided they wanted to be the leader. No one could be the leader because there is no finite rule for all this shit. And that's it. I don't have my moment of rage button pulled up. So you're getting this. Just fuck me, man.
Make me feel
just
rage.
fuck me. Like, just fuck me, right? I don't know.
This makes me think I've got a shower thought coming.
Okay, let's see. So I ignored chat. I'm so sorry, chat. I got in my moment. This rage is valid. Baseball, they sucking straight dick. Tell me about it. This was going to be our year 2. Yeah, dude. It was like there's a lot of promise that's going to go down the drain because of all this. This is also my rage, CAC. Valid rage. And listen. Okay, here we go. All right, are you ready? Are you ready for some shame game?
Let's do it.
Perfect. He's the first one loaded up. So Brooks Koepka, for the world that may not know, is a professional golfer. He's a really good professional golfer. He's not the greatest, but here recently he's been in contention. He's hung around. Brooks Koepka on Saturday had this to say about the field. He was asked about the leaderboard in his chase. I like my chances, Koepka said, of his chase to catch Johnson, so to catch DJ in the final round. When I've been in this position before, I've capitalized. I don't know. He's only won 1. I'm playing good. I don't know. We'll see. And then when asked about the leaderboard, he said, a lot of guys on the leaderboard, I don't think I have one. Because he asked who was his favorite to win it. And he said, I don't think I have one. But I guess DJ has only won 1. But I don't know the other guys that are up there. So essentially you had Brooks Koepka saying that he was in the best shape because there was a bunch of no-names before him. And DJ, the choke artist.
Yep.
You had to read the message because he clearly was taking a lot of shots at DJ. But he basically said there's no one ahead of him that stood out of it, like that was going to stand up. And during Sunday, so the last day of the major, Brooks Koepka shot 4 over. So Brooks Koepka went from being in contention to falling off the wagon.
Open mouth, insert foot.
So my question to you is, does Brooks Koepka, because he talked shit before the finish and then didn't finish strong, should he be shamed?
I mean, I didn't see it as that big a deal. I think they're looking for a little drama to throw in there because golf is, sometimes dry for drama. But I mean, any other day, I really feel like he probably would have came out there and blown the doors off. But for whatever reason, he couldn't put it together on Sunday because he's been playing well. He's not a bad golfer by any means, but
all right. Reno,
he's just kind of a dick.
Reno said no shame. Rooster says can't shame a man for confidence. Kmart seems to be in agreement. So we are much more than those nerds on Friday. We are very much listening to our audience. So listen, we won't shame him. We'll just give him the Kawhi Leonard laugh. He gets off. so he gets off. He gets off. All right, here we go. Who's up next? Big Ten. And again, I don't want this to be shaming the players or the coaches. This is a shame to the Big Ten administration that made a decision. Do you think... I'll wait for Reno. So,
can you hear me now?
Yes. So,
okay.
Again, this isn't towards the Big Ten players. This isn't toward the Big Ten coaches. This is toward the Big Ten administrators that made a decision where it sounds like they're going to close up shop, and they did close up shop on football today, which we kind of figured they were going to do, or they're pushing it back or whatever. They're pushing it back to the spring. The rumor coming out on Monday was that the Big Ten was looking for someone to join them in announcing because they didn't want to be the first. That was kind of the quote that leaked from their meeting, is that they didn't want to be the first to announce they weren't going to have football as a Power 5 conference, but they didn't want to be the last. Does the Big Ten, for basically being kind of, bitches about all this, deserve to be shamed for their, hey, you guys, we're all quitting, come join us, please, but go first?
Hey, let's all quit, but you say it first. You go first.
It's literally that moment. It's like, dude, I'm so sick and tired of working here, and like someone's next to him, like, yeah, man, I am too. Man, we should do
quit.
something. Yeah, man, we should quit. Okay, you go first, and I'll be right there. Rooster says we should shame him. Reno, do you feel like there's shame to this, or do you let him off the hook?
I agree.
Big Ten.
Shame.
Big Ten, march your naked ass down the streets. You have been shamed.
I can't. I just can't. Like, if you're gonna do it, and don't play it off like, oh, we don't want to be the first ones to do either. Do it. No one's good. Like at this point, if you're the first to do something like this, nobody's going to criticize you because of what's going on.
As soon, well,
Shame. Shame.
because you waited, Big Ten, because all this information started leaking out, and instead of you making an action right then and there and just saying, listen, yes, we're going to go ahead and close up shop, because all of this stuff leaked to Dan Patrick of all people, because the vote leaked that there were 2 schools, and Nebraska's, before Big Ten actually closed up shop, Nebraska already went out there and said, listen, we're playing football.
We're going to play, and then, no, you're not.
So just all across the board, they look like buffoons for how this all played out. And they could have easily course corrected. Listen, it's a pandemic. I'm not going to shame someone for not wanting to play during it. But now you're coming up with this thing with, well, we have this medical evidence. Well, then if you have this, share it. Like, we're not doing this because this. If you have that, share that. But as soon as this starts getting leaked, you have to be on top of it. Otherwise, you're going to look like what the perception is. And that's like you didn't want to be the first ones to put your neck out there, which means to me that you didn't care about player safety. You cared about your public image.
PR, man, PR.
Shame. Shame.
All right, who's up next?
Mm.
The NCAA! I'm just,
Absolutely. Before I
Shame.
even mention
Shame.
anything, shame. Shame, shame, shame.
Shame. Shame.
Yeah, listen, I don't even need to talk about the NCAA. I've already expressed why I think
we've covered this.
I've already expressed why I think they need to be shamed. So I don't know if you've seen this, but Deion Sanders had something to say. So Deion Sanders tweeted, and this is what Deion Sanders said: all players opting out in all sports, please believe, he capitalized please believe, the game will go on without you. This is a business, and you don't ever forget that. There is no one that's bigger than the game itself. Only the ref, umps, and officials are that important that you can't play without them. Not you. Hashtag truth. So this is Deion Sanders in response to NFL players opting out of the season.
Okay, well, great, but that seemed a little bit unnecessary. I don't think anybody's opting out because they think that they're bigger than the game or that they're just going to, we can't play because we don't have this player. Nobody's opting out because of that. They're opting out because they care about their well-being and the health of everyone else around them, including their family or their teammates or whoever. It's not because of their ego that Deion Sanders obviously still has. So I'm a fan of Deion. I'm a Cowboy fan, so pains me to say this, but shame.
Does Deion deserve to be shamed?
Absolutely, he deserves to be shamed. Absolutely.
Shame. Shame.
Like, if you're gonna make a statement like that, stick to your guns. Don't be going out afterwards and responding to every troll that gives you crap over it, and people who rightfully shame you for it. Like, it's dumb.
Here's the thing that kind of bothers me. Isn't Deion Sanders like a high school coach or like a coach at some level now?
I think so.
Isn't that kind of like, doesn't that
so bad?
Doesn't that make you a little bit like, I mean, I get, like, listen, let's see. Can't shame the man that ran directly to his limo after blazing the 40-yard dash in the combine. Let's be real here. I mean, listen.
I'm a fan of his. Like, I get it. Like, it's prime time, but his playing days are over.
You know what? If this was a selfish move, sure. Like, if we weren't in a situation where, listen, I get it. The death rate isn't high, right? The mortality rate isn't high. There is a 20-something-year-old player that I think was just drafted who caught the coronavirus and now has an enlarged heart. Like, there are people that might recover from this, but their recovery means that they have a heart that looks like they suffered a stroke. And they might be more prone to stroke. So I am not going to fault anyone at any level if they decide they don't want to be in a situation that's high risk. I think that's where Deion deserves to be shamed, right? I feel like
Absolutely.
you can't make this a definitive, well, you don't love the game, so you're leaving.
This
Like,
isn't about football.
no. The Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals have just recently had their 16th, at last time I checked, confirmed case. The Cardinals have not played a baseball game since July 29th. Should the Cardinals be shamed, Reno?
Yeah, like it's.
Shame. Shame.
I mean, we just is. I mean, it's really like a repeat issue of
Oh, we
the
hammered
Marlins
the
just
Marlins
had
too.
this. We hammered them for this.
We hammered the Marlins,
and they
for
do the
this.
exact same thing, except it's not a strip club; it's a casino. But still,
Oh,
like,
yeah. And so listen, and this goes back to the NCAA thing. The MLB has no actual leadership at the top of it.
no, because Manfred's an idiot.
And it pisses me off so much that now the news cycle is starting to churn out. Listen, hey, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, Manfred. So this is the commissioner of the NBA, or not NBA, the MLB. So this is the commissioner of Major League Baseball. He's already. It's like the rumors have already started leaking out that they're thinking of doing bubbles for the playoffs. Rob Manfred, why the fuck didn't you do bubbles for the season? It's baseball. It is a sport that they started playing as kids in complexes that had 4 different fields running at the same time. To think that you are above that, it blows my mind. This notion that you have to go play in your home stadium during a pandemic. You don't have fans. What is the point of being in Colorado to play the Rockies when there's no one there?
There's absolutely no one there. Why can't you go play at a high school field that like same equivalent of what you're playing on because no one's there?
Where would they be able to do that, Rooster? So what was originally talked about was Arizona had a park complex because. So listen, you spread out the teams. You spread out the teams to two different bubble sites or 3 different bubble
East
sites.
and the West.
Yeah, because Arizona is already equipped to handle spring ball setup, right? So you've already got a couple of major league size fields out there. Florida, I believe, also has a setup where they could have accommodated that. Granted, Florida at that time was a big burning piece of shit. But I imagine there's some other sites. I forget where all the spring ball sites are. But these spring ball sites are set up to where they have at least one additional field. And you know what? Why did we have to have 60 games of baseball? Just turn it into a freaking round robin tournament at this point.
Winning, you're in playoffs. Let's go.
As soon as they didn't get a deal done for 80 games, they should have said, "Screw it. Let's just make it a big long tournament and be done with it."
Yeah.
Because baseball doesn't have leadership. Rob Manfred is
He's not a leader at
inept. Rob Manfred is chicken shit. I don't know what else to say. We're done. We're done with the shame game. Goodbye, shame game. Thank you for playing. Thank y'all for playing and joining in for the shame game.
Shame.
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 So hey, we shamed at least everyone but Kepka. So I'm fine with that. I think that's a pretty productive use of the shame game time.